It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up. It ain't no stopping me. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up. It ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man. It ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man. It ain't no stopping me. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up. It ain't no stopping me. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up. It ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man. It ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up in hand and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man. It ain't no stopping me. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up. It ain't no stopping me. I was broke, came up with a plan, now I'm the man. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up. It ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up in hand.
Hey, we are in here. What is going on? Can I get a round of applause? All right. Let's get this conversation started. What's going on, y'all? So as you come into the room, do me a favor. As always, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button because it's free. It helps us boost. It boosts us in the algorithm. Get this message out to a wider audience. So I appreciate y'all hitting the thumbs up button. And if it's your first time watching, or if you're enjoying the topics, if you're enjoying the conversation, be sure to smash the subscribe button for content just like this, talking about a wide range of topics. Now, without further ado, tonight we're talking about this chump, Bernie Sanders. Listen, man, I am so disappointed in this guy, Bernie Sanders. In 2016, when Bernie Sanders first hit the scene, he, truth be told, was the first presidential candidate, even though it was in the primaries, that I ever voted for. I didn't vote for Obama. All right, I was too young in 09 and 08 to vote for him. And I was in the army and I was upset with Obama for what he did to Libya in 2012. So I didn't vote for Obama. The first time I ever voted for a presidential candidate, whether it be in the primaries or otherwise, was for Bernie Sanders. I was a big Bernie Sanders supporter. And that's why it hurts my heart. It breaks my heart to say the things that I'm going to say today. All right, so full disclosure, I did enjoy Bernie Sanders coming onto the scene. We agree on 95% of policies. If he's talking about Medicare for all, we're in agreement. If he's talking about student loan forgiveness, we're in agreement. If he's talking about ending these foreign wars of aggression, we're in agreement. If he's talking about free college, extending public education from high school and now incorporating an undergraduate degree in public education, we're in agreement. A lot of the things that Bernie Sanders gained traction for being a democratic socialist, similar to Martin Luther King, a lot of those policies I was supportive of. So I was a big Bernie Sanders supporter. But after Bernie Sanders was cheated, not once, but twice in 2016 and in 2020, Bernie Sanders exposed himself as a chump, a cuck. You know what a cuck is? A cuck is a man who watches another man sleep with his wife. That's what Bernie Sanders is. He's somebody who will sit there and watch the Democratic Party cheat him because, mind you, especially in 2020, he was winning. He was winning before the powers that be got involved and not only cheated him, but cheated us, cheated the Democratic voters out of electing the candidate which we most identified with. The Democratic Party, the DNC specifically, cheated the Democratic voters. And I got to be specific about this. They didn't cheat Bernie Sanders. They cheated the Democratic voters, people like me, who wanted to take time out on my busy Tuesday to show up and vote for somebody. They cheated us. They cheated us out of the candidate which got the most grassroots support, got the most grassroots fundraising, because mind you, Bernie Sanders did not accept any donations from any major lobbyists or donors. All right. So Bernie Sanders was in line with the people. Bernie Sanders was, hey, are you ready for a revolution? That was Bernie Sanders' message in 2016 and 2020. But after watching the Democratic Party and the DNC specifically cheat not only him, but us voters out of legitimately electing a candidate which aligned with our values, Bernie Sanders bent over. He bent over, grabbed his ankles and said, do your thing. He endorsed the party and the candidate being Joe Biden and now Kamala Harris. He's endorsing the party which he told us, the Democratic voters, that we need to revolt against. He endorsed, let me say that again. He endorsed the very same party that in 2016 and in 2020, he told us voters that we should be revolting against. Shots fired. Shots fired. He bent over. He bent over and endorsed that party that cheated him and cheated us. And now the Democratic Party running on the narrative that democracy is on the ballot, they're not even trying to hide the fact that they cheated not only Bernie Sanders in 2016 and 2020, but now they've cheated RFK in 2024. Now, the difference between Bernie Sanders and RFK is at least RFK had the heart to say, you Democrats are undemocratic. What you're doing is undemocratic. And although I might support your candidate more so than the Republican candidate, I cannot in good conscience cast a vote for a party which is diametrically opposed to democracy itself. RFK had the heart to endorse Donald Trump because the Democratic Party has proven itself to be undemocratic. Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, admits openly that he was cheated twice, not once, but twice. And he has no heart. He has no heart to say, not only have you cheated me, but you cheated these millions of voters who took their time out to spend money on donations, took their time out to knock on doors, took time out of their day to talk stuff on YouTube and spread a message saying, hey, this is a candidate who aligns with our policies, who aligns with our desires as far as where the direction this country needs to go to. They didn't only cheat RFK. They didn't only cheat Bernie Sanders. They cheated us, the voters. The Democratic Party has cheated the people out of democracy. The Democratic Party has stolen democracy from the voters. And Bernie Sanders, instead of standing on what he was claiming, are you ready for a revolution? He tucked tail and run. Not only did he tuck tail and run, he licked the hand. He bent down and kissed the ring of the very same people that cheated him. It's a disgrace. Bernie Sanders is the biggest disappointment in all of politics. And let me tell you why I say that. It's one thing if we disagree as far as policies. You might say, oh, Bernie Sanders was too radical. You know, he was pushing socialist policies. He wanted free college, just like we have free high school. That, you know, nobody ever says that public high school, public middle school, public elementary school, nobody says that that's socialist. But as soon as you talk about college, oh, that's socialist. That's socialist talk. You're a Marxist. You're a communist. See, it's one thing if we disagree about the policies. I can accept that. I can accept that we disagree. We have different ideologies and we don't align on policies. I can accept that. But when we align on policies, we align on philosophies, and you just don't have the heart to stand on it. You're afraid of being shamed. So you tuck tail, you bow down, you kiss the ring without making any demands on his endorsement. Mind you, in 2020, when he was cheated, he endorsed Joe Biden without any demands. They didn't say, okay, I'll endorse you, Joe Biden, but you have to have some type of policy as far as Medicare for all. You have to have some type of policy for public college, public higher institutions, public higher education. Bernie Sanders made no demands for his endorsement. He just bowed down, bent over, and let the Democratic Party have their way with him. That I can't respect. I can't respect because in my eyes, that's a sellout. In my eyes, Bernie Sanders is a sellout. And like I said, he's not even hiding it. Check this video out. Bernie Sanders recently went on the podcast with Theo Von. Shout out and salute to Theo Von. He's got a pretty good podcast going on over there. Bernie Sanders went on the podcast and Theo Von, and they had a conversation, and Theo Von asked him directly, he said, I felt as though you were cheated in 2016 and 2020. Bernie Sanders agrees, unsurprisingly. Y'all check this out.
I have debated her, as a matter of fact. She's tough.
She's tough. Was there a chance that you were going to get that nominee, or as an independent, can you get been plotted with the Democratic Party and put in?
No,
was there even a call about it or anything?
No. I ran in 16. I ran against Hillary Clinton, and I ran in 20.
Yeah, I remember, and I felt like you didn't get treated fairly, to be honest with you.
I didn't, and that's what happens when you take on the establishment. So
Yeah.
what happened is we won the first 3 primaries, and then
Said, no, I
the
didn't.
establishment got very, very nervous, and there were a whole lot of candidates in the Democratic primary, and they said, hey, it'd be a good idea if you all dropped out, that Joe Biden be the one candidate. People rallied around him.
And do they call? Is there a call that you get, and it's like you're not going to move forward? Is it just like news articles? Like how does the establishment
Well, what
kind of
happens
work?
is I won the popular vote in Iowa. I won the New Hampshire primary. I won the Nevada primary, and those were the first 3. And then front pages of the New York Times, Democratic establishment very nervous. Bernie Sanders could win the whole. We were doing very well in the polls. And, I think behind the scenes, people saw, there were like 15 different candidates. And they were splitting up the vote. And that's how I was not necessarily getting over 50%. I was getting more than other people. So I was on the way to victory. And they said, look, Bernie shouldn't be the candidate for a variety of reasons. We don't want him the candidate. Drop out. And
He was on the way to victory.
A lot of people wanted to. There's a lot of people dropped out. It was Joe Biden and me, and Joe had a lot of support, and all these people came behind him, and that's what happened. Let me also say, having said that, Biden is a friend of mine. I think he has done a very good job over the last 3.5.
Listen, he's not in denial. He knows exactly what happened. He was winning. He was on the way to victory. He won the first 3 states. He won the first 3 states of the primaries. He was on the way to victory. And he didn't say the voters turned against me. He didn't say there a scandal or new information came out against me. He said the powers that be made a phone call and told these other people to drop out, and they did. Is that democracy? Is that shout out to the Democratic voters who watch this channel. Is that democracy? To go directly against the will of the voters, the Democratic voters, and select, not elect, but select Joe Biden instead of the person who apparently the voters supported the most in Bernie Sanders? That's not democracy. That's undemocratic. And let me say this, I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent over here. I am not a Republican by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, the majority of the policies that I supported, that Bernie Sanders supported, like public higher education, Medicare for all, these are policies that the Republican Party are not supportive of. So I'm not a Republican. But one thing I can credit the Republican Party with is at least they are democratic. At least they don't cheat their voters out of electing the person their voters support the most. See, the one thing about the Republican Party, the Republicans don't like Donald Trump. Newsflash, the Republicans do not like, the mainstream Republicans do not like Donald Trump. We've already seen in the past few days, hundreds, not 800, but hundreds, plural, of Republican staffers who worked for John McCain, who worked for George H. Bush, Herbert Walker Bush. We saw Republican staffers say, we're going to support Kamala Harris. Yeah, they supporting Kamala Harris. But one thing they didn't do, they didn't cheat Donald Trump in the primaries. They didn't stop Donald Trump from running in the Republican Party. See, the Democratic Party, not only did they cheat Bernie Sanders in 2016 and 2020, because they won, especially in 2020, they felt comfortable, they felt bold enough cheating RFK in 2024. At this point, there's a pattern. At this point, they're getting comfortable. There's a pattern of cheating here. It's not like 2016 was a one-off. It was an emergency situation, and they were scared of Trump. No, this is a pattern at this point. They've been doing this for nearly a decade at this point. They've been cheating the Democratic voters, robbing the Democratic voters of democracy for the past 8 years, since 2016, nearly a decade. 3 different presidential elections. Not 1, not 2, but 3 different presidential elections have the Democratic Party stolen democracy from the Democratic voters. Now that's a fact. RFK, mind you, he wasn't originally running as an independent. He was pushed out. He was forced out of the Democratic Party because he was trying to run as a Democrat, and the powers that be, quote unquote, wouldn't allow him to have a fair primary against Joe Biden, who, by the way, dropped out anyway because of the things that RFK was saying. RFK said, hey, Joe Biden's looking kind of old. I think he might have some cognitive issues. He might be suffering from dementia. Joe Biden is not a strong candidate. RFK said this while running in the Democratic Party during the Democratic primaries. Everything RFK said about Joe Biden was correct. And the Democratic Party didn't care. Didn't care about what RFK was saying. Didn't care about the country suffering from having a demented president. Didn't care that the Democratic voters were asking for an alternative. No, the Democratic Party had a plan. They said, listen, RFK, you're too soon. No, we've already got a plan here. Joe Biden, we're going to pull him out. Of course, we're not going to let him debate anyone, because as soon as he gets onto the debate stage, he's going to expose himself and he's going to plummet. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide him. We're going to cheat our voters, our Democratic voters, from having any type of vote or any type of say in the primaries. And what we're going to do is at the very last minute, we'll just swap Joe Biden for Kamala Harris. And guess what? Our Democratic voters won't care. They'll be too stupid to realize that this whole democracy thing is a farce. It's all fake. Our Democratic voters are going to vote for us anyway. They don't care that we've stolen their right to vote. They don't care that we've in federal court argued that we have the right to select whatever candidate we want, and their vote does not matter. We've said this openly in court. Our voters don't care. They're laughing at all the stupid Democratic voters who think that their vote matters. The Democratic Party is laughing at every Democratic voter who thinks that their vote matters. Now that's a fact. That is a fact. They're laughing at y'all. They're laughing at y'all. So you know what? Salute to RFK. Salute to RFK for having the heart to say, listen, I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm going to call strikes strikes and balls balls. Right now, the Democratic Party, despite the fact that I have a legacy family who has historically been staunch supporters of the Democrats, right now, the Democratic Party is undemocratic And I have no choice but to vote for the Republican Party, whether I support Donald Trump as an individual or not. It's bigger than Donald Trump at this point. Democracy really is on the ballot. Democracy really is on the ballot. And if you vote for the Democrats, you are voting against democracy. And I want to be clear. I want that to be very clear. See, right now, they're trying to shame, especially black men, folks like me who don't have heart to speak out on it. They're trying to shame the black men by telling us, you're not voting for Kamala. You must be a Trump supporter. And I'm like, no, I'm not a Trump supporter. I think Kamala Harris's policies might, because I've got a lot of disagreements as far as Kamala Harris on the policies, not neglecting the fact that she hasn't really openly stood on any type of platform or policies. But I think that despite the fact that I might align with Kamala Harris on as a person more so than I support Donald Trump as a person, I definitely think that as a person, Kamala Harris is a better person than Donald Trump. But it's not about the individual at this point, not for me at least. For me, it's about the party as a whole. It's about democracy as a whole. The Democratic Party has openly laughed in the faces of all of the Democratic voters. They have not only once, not 2016, not twice, not 2020, not 3 times, including 2024 with RFK, have cheated the Democratic voters out of democracy. They didn't hold not one debate during the primaries, knowing that Joe Biden is elderly, demented, and suffering cognitive issues. They didn't hold one debate. They kicked RFK out of the party completely, anticipating that, hey, we can just switch him out at the last minute for Kamala, and our Democratic voters are so stupid, they're going to go for it. They're going to go for it. They're going to go for it. And Bernie Sanders is going to help them. Bernie Sanders is going to rile up the country, go on tour in 2016 and 2020, telling millions of people, hey, we need a revolution. Hey, we need free college. Hey, we need student loan forgiveness. Hey, we need to end these foreign wars of aggression. Hey, we need Medicare for all. The people who are suffering are like, yes, Bernie, I'm with you. We need to get out of these foreign wars of aggression. Bernie, I'm with you. I want to get out. I want to get out of this crippling student loan debt. Bernie, you're right. You're right. If a kid is 18 years old and they have good grades, they should be able to go to college and make something of their lives without taking on tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, which will follow them until the day that they die, and they can't even get rid of it if they go bankrupt. The people say, yes, Bernie, I'm with you. What can we do to support? Bernie said, follow me. And after the Democratic Party cheated them, Bernie Sanders said, yeah, vote for the people who cheated us. Vote for the people who promised that if Medicare for all passes Congress, I refuse to sign it. That's a quote from Joe Biden. Vote for the people, Joe Biden. Vote for Joe Biden, who says, even if Medicare for all passes House and Senate, I will refuse to sign it. Vote for him. Vote for him, Bernie says. Oh, Bernie, you're saying we need to get out of these foreign wars of aggression? Yeah. All right, well, the Democratic Party just cheated you. What should we do now? Oh, you should vote for the guy who's going to send billions, dozens of billions of dollars to not only Ukraine, but Israel. We're going to sponsor a genocide. Vote for them. Bernie Sanders is the biggest sellout, the biggest disappointment. I would say, I want to say, and I'm going to have this personal debate on my own. I don't know who's a bigger disappointment, Barack Obama or Bernie Sanders. Now, Barack Obama, I give him some credit. I give Barack Obama some credit because he didn't promise us anything when he was running for president, number one. For number two, if you read his book, The Promised Land, I've listened to the audiobook, but if you read his book, He says openly his goal of running for president was to invigorate the black masses and the black youth specifically into getting politically active. And if that was his goal, I would say that he was successful. I was 18. I turned 18 in 2009. Y'all can do the math on that. So I was looking up to Barack Obama. So if his goal was to invigorate the youth to political activism, hey, job well done. Not only that, Barack Obama, if you ask me, was the catalyst for the delineation movement. There would be no term foundational Black American. There would be no Kendrick Lamar, they not like us. There would be no strong reparations movement today if it wasn't for Barack Obama. Because Barack Obama, when he was in office, he showed us that he wasn't like us. He showed us that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Barack Obama showed us that just because he's black doesn't mean that he's going to do anything for black people. And when the black masses saw Barack Obama watch Trayvon Martin get murdered by not a cop, but a civilian, and didn't pursue any federal charges, when we saw Barack Obama didn't do anything for black people specifically, we realized, they're running a scam on us. Who are these people? He's not black. That's the first time I ever heard a black person, my folks, my parents, and that people in the 60s, the 50s and 60s, people who were born in the 50s and 60s, say a black person isn't black. That's the first time I've ever heard that in my life, was under Barack Obama. And I was like, wait, what do you mean he's not black? Well, you know, his mom is white and his dad's Kenyan. And that's when we started realizing, hold on, wait, they're really not like us. There really is a difference. Black Americans, we kind of stand on business over here. We kind of push for justice over here. And these other folks are just happy to be here. These other folks are pushing LGBTQ and pushing immigration. They're not really pushing anything for foundational Black Americans. Barack Obama was the catalyst. Really, he was the catalyst for the whole delineation reparations movement. So I can only fault Barack Obama so much. But the fact that he didn't do anything for black people makes me wonder, who was the bigger disappointment, Bernie Sanders or Barack Obama? You ask me, Bernie Sanders is a bigger disappointment than Barack Obama. You ask me. Let me tell it. Barack Obama, Bernie Sanders is the biggest disappointment in all of politics, if you let me tell it. Because I actually supported the things he was saying. I actually supported his policies. And I feel like I was lied to. They're laughing at us. That's when I realized they're laughing. This is all a game. It's like George Carlin said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. They can literally select whatever candidate they want. Your vote doesn't matter. They switched out an 80-year-old demented Joe Biden for Kamala Harris. Nobody casted a vote for either one of them, and their voters don't have a single word to say about it. The Democratic voters won't say a thing about the fact that democracy is dead under the Democrats. See, one thing I say about the Republicans, although they hate Donald Trump, they didn't cheat Donald Trump. There's hundreds, if not thousands if not millions really, of Republicans who don't like Donald Trump. But they didn't just cheat him out of running. See, the Democrats, what have the Democrats done to keep not only RFK off the ballot, what have they done to keep Donald Trump off the ballot? They've charged him with all these politically motivated criminal charges. They didn't try. They made him a felon. They've convicted him of felonies. All right. So that's political prosecutions. What have the Democrats done? Not only for the RFK, but now we're looking at against the other side. They've engaged in political prosecutions. I'm not convinced that the shooter, the assassination attempt, I'm not convinced that he didn't have any Democratic ties. Hold on, shots fired. I'm not convinced that he was a lone wolf like they try to proclaim. I got a lot of questions behind that assassination attempt. The head of the Secret Service said, "Oh well, we didn't put any security guards on that rooftop because it was a slanted rooftop." But you could easily put a guard at the top floor to prevent access to the rooftop. And anyone with any type of military background, any type of 360 defense type of knowledge would know you would want to protect, you would want to have a 360-degree aerial sight, lines of fire to the podium. And to have that building totally uncovered to the point where just regular citizens, regular people, not even military men, just regular people are pointing, hey, it looks like there's somebody out on that roof. It looks like there's somebody, is there somebody up there? There's regular people pointing out this kid, this child. How old is he? He's 21 years old? This 20-something-year-old on the roof with a rifle? There's regular people pointing him out. And there's no action until shots fired. Multiple shots were fired. I got a lot of questions. I'm not convinced that the deep state wasn't involved in that. I'm not convinced that the Democrats weren't involved in that. I'm not convinced that was a lone wolf. I'm not convinced. But we see the political prosecutions. We see assassination attempts. We see a lot of undemocratic measures being used against RFK within the Democratic Party and Donald Trump as well. So the Democratic Party is not even trying to hide the fact. It's not even trying to hide the fact that they're undemocratic. So Bernie Sanders is a chump, you ask me. He's the biggest disappointment in all of politics. Check out this clip because I want to give a contrast. In contrast to Bernie Sanders bowing down, kissing the ring, and openly accepting the fact that he was cheated, RFK at least had the heart to call out the Democratic Party for saying, hey, they're doing some undemocratic things right now, and we'd be better off under Trump because at least under the Republican Party, democracy still stands. Y'all check this out.
The Democratic Party seems to be passing the torch to Vice President Kamala Harris as their 2024 nominee. But some are calling this move anti-democratic. Let's hear what 2024 independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had to say.
If the Democrats do what I suspect they're going to do, which is to anoint Kamala Harris, a vice president who is monumentally unpopular within her own party, they're doing it because it's the easiest way to hold on to the money. It's a cabal that is choosing the same way the Soviet Union did. Russia has elections. Vladimir Putin wins with 88% of the vote.
It's a cabal.
He controls who can be his opponents. And he controls the media. And the same is true now of our political parties in this country.
He's not the only one making that point. Journalist Michael Schellenberger, who's often on our show, also not on board with the Democrats' latest move.
Nobody could watch the events of the last few weeks and believe that the Democratic Party is democratic. It's a party controlled by the media, donors, and the deep state. However one feels about the GOP, the same can't be said for Republicans. Republican voters rejected their own party leaders, donors, and the foreign policy establishment to nominate Trump for president in 2016. This is the third time in 3 presidential elections that Democratic Party elites have subverted democracy to choose a presidential candidate.
So I do...
Sorry about that, guys. Had some technical difficulties there. But yeah, so RFK is right. RFK rightfully calls it out. He says, listen, there is a cabal. There is a cabal which is running the Democratic Party. It's not democracy. They are not hiding it. They've openly argued in court that they have the right to choose whoever they want. And your vote as a Democratic primary voter, it's totally irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant. In 2024, they've gone so bold as to cancel the primaries altogether. They didn't have not one primary debate. They didn't have not one primary vote. Not one primary vote to get Kamala Harris selected to be the Democratic presidential nominee. Your vote doesn't matter, sweetie. Your vote is totally irrelevant. What? Yeah. Let me be the one to tell you. Let me be the one to tell you. Alright? And here's the thing. The people are really the ones to suffer because of this. See, Malcolm X, go back and look at Malcolm X's statements back when he was alive. God bless the dead. Malcolm X told us what? We've got two choices, the ballot or the bullet. That's what we were told. We were told if black folks have any chance of redeeming this society and making this a just nation for all, with justice and liberty for all, our only ways of accomplishing this goal would be either A, the ballot, or B, the bullet. Now, I know most people don't have the heart to pick up arms against the government. I understand that. And we've got families, there's different pieces on the board. You don't throw your king out in the center of the board in the beginning of the game, right? You've got pieces. You've got rooks. You've got knights. You've got bishops. There's pieces for that. But most people don't have the heart to pick up arms against the federal government. So that leaves us with what option? That leaves us with the option of the ballot. If we're not using bullets, we've got to use the ballot, right? Quoting Malcolm X. Ballot or the bullet. You only got two choices. And people aren't using bullets, which means our only way of getting any type of justice and liberty for all in this country has to be done through the ballot, has to be done through voting. Well, my question to anyone who's choosing to vote for the Democratic Party would be, how are you going to make changes through the ballot when the Democratic Party and the DNC select all the candidates on the ballot? You have no options. If you have a grassroots candidate, hey, we like this guy. This guy is going to do something for the people. This guy is not beholden to the military-industrial complex. This guy is not beholden to the pharmaceutical companies. This guy is not beholden to big oil. This guy is willing to risk his life because assassination attempts do occur. This guy is willing to take his chances, because, mind you, until Donald Trump had that assassination attempt, the Democratic Party was not granting Secret Service protections to RFK. So if the people get together, organize, and say, this is our candidate, we're supporting Bernie Sanders. This is our candidate, we're supporting RFK. And the party, the cabal, as RFK puts it, says, no, that's not your candidate. We're going to remove him from the party. We're going to remove him as even an option. And we're going to swap out Joe Biden for a different candidate. And you guys don't have a vote at all. Your primaries canceled. Debates canceled. We're not doing any of that. Your whole democracy, yeah, we're going to take that away. We're going to try to, we're going to seek sick political prosecutions on our opponents. We're going to allegedly attempt an assassination on our opposition. What are you going to do about it? And what do you hear the masses doing? Yay! Yay! We don't care that we don't have democracy. We don't care that our primaries were canceled. We don't care that political prosecutions are occurring against your opposition. We don't care that you're kicking out any grassroots candidates like Bernie Sanders or RFK. We don't care that you cheat us voters out of democracy. We're still going to support you. Isn't that great? And the powers that be are just sitting back laughing at all the Democratic voters, the foolish, the poor. I got to say it with some empathy, but the frustration and the mixture of frustration and empathy that I have for the Democratic voters, I can't even verbalize. I can't even verbalize. Because they're just sitting back laughing. They're just sitting back laughing, knowing that they could do anything. They could do anything. And the Democratic voters are going to support them regardless. They're just, hey, we could just sit back, relax. We got this in the bag. They're going to vote for us anyway. We can steal their democracy. We can steal their election. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're going to vote for us anyway. And they're sitting back laughing. So, yeah, Bernie Sanders is a disappointment. RFK did the right thing. And like I said, the people suffer. The people suffer because we don't, even if we organize, they say, hey, you got to vote. You got to vote. You got to organize. Well, people organize. People voted for Bernie Sanders and for RFK, and they were cheated. Right? And here is people. I want to play another clip. This clip is of a woman just expressing herself, expressing really what most Americans are feeling, the frustration that most Americans are feeling. Y'all check this out. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Boom.
Be honest with ourselves about the kind of country we live in. Let's be honest. There's something wrong in this country telling people it is okay to work 3 jobs, not see your kids, not see your loved ones, not take a vacation, and God forbid you get sick. Okay? And I still got a job at home because I'm a mother. Because let's not forget, I don't get a day off. And I got to figure all that out. How are we going to eat? How are we going to pay rent? How are we going to pay the utility bills? That every single thing went up after COVID. Not one thing stayed the same except salaries. The only thing that stayed the same in this country is the minimum wage. Even though everything else went up. And we have a Democratic president or a Republican president, then a Democratic president, Republican president, and neither party ever talks about what is really going on in this world. Because I'm not even going to say the country. What is really going on in this world? There is no scarcity. It is how do we pit people against each other so they're too distracted to see everything that I'm too addicted to consuming and how much profit I'm making, and more profit, how many more houses one individual can have, how many yachts can one individual have. And you're gonna arrest me now that I make a tent city? Yeah. So if I take the scraps from the trash and make some kind of shelter for me and my children, regardless of what I have mental.
I feel her. I feel what that young lady was saying. I didn't mean to cut her off. I have some technical difficulties there. But the lady was going, she was on one, and she was right. She was right on point. She was right on point. People are dealing with working 3 jobs, trying to juggle the stresses of drowning in college student loan debt. People are trying to build their families, working multiple jobs, trying to make ends meet. Homelessness is out the roof. And neither party, Republicans or Democrats, are doing anything about it. The only difference that I see between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party is at least the Republican Party leaves room for the voters. The Democratic Party, it doesn't matter how much you organize. It doesn't matter if you find or identify a grassroots candidate. The Democratic Party will cheat, literally kick out any grassroots candidate that you choose. Donald Trump, like him or not, he was a grassroots candidate. The powers that be in the Republican Party did not like Donald Trump, but they didn't cheat him. Let me say that one more time. The Republican Party, whether you like them or not, they didn't like Donald Trump. But what they didn't do is they didn't cheat him. The Democratic Party, on the other hand, the people like a lot of these grassroots candidates. For example, Bernie. For example, RFK. And the party as a whole will outright and openly, without shame or hiding it, just cheat. Just simply kick them out of the party altogether. And then dare their voters to shame their voters if they have any pushback. Shame their voters if they have anything to say about it. So, like they always say, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, those are 2 wings of the same bird. But I gotta say, at least one wing is at least fair to the voters. And that's not the Democratic Party. And the people are suffering. The people are suffering because of it. Because of the Democrats' unwillingness to allow democracy to take place in this country, the country as a whole is suffering. See, we wouldn't have these two horrible options, Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders. Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Donald Trump or in 2020. We wouldn't have had that option. In 2016, we wouldn't have had Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. In 2024, we wouldn't have had Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. We would have had an option, a better candidate. It would have been in 2016 if it wasn't for the intervention of the cabal, as RFK puts it. We would have had Donald Trump versus Bernie Sanders. I believe Bernie Sanders would have beat Donald Trump in 2016. The same goes in 2020. We wouldn't have had Joe Biden, somebody who's going to promote genocide in Israel or genocide in Gaza. We wouldn't have had Joe Biden, somebody who's going to send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight Russia, to try to drain Russia. We wouldn't have had that because Bernie Sanders, who would have won in 2020 if he wasn't cheated, he wouldn't have been promoting this siege, this ethnic cleansing that's currently taking place in Gaza. Bernie Sanders isn't supporting that, but he would have been president if he wasn't cheated in 2020. Bernie Sanders would have been a much better president than Joe Biden. And right now in 2024, if RFK wasn't cheated out of his primaries and kicked out of the Democratic Party, we wouldn't have had Kamala Harris right now. Right now, truth be told, if RFK was given a fair shot, if he was given a fair chance electorally, RFK would have beaten Joe Biden in the primaries. Because Joe Biden, as we saw in his first debate and his only debate against Donald Trump, RFK would have had a debate with Joe Biden. Joe Biden would have lost, and RFK likely would have received the Democratic nomination. So you think, oh, well, I'm voting for Kamala because she's better than Trump. Kamala Harris as an individual might be better than Donald Trump. I'll cede that point. But what I'm saying is by voting for Kamala Harris, you are effectively normalizing the Democratic Party's cheating of all grassroots candidates. You are effectively normalizing and giving the okay. You're saying that this is legitimate. You are legitimizing the Democratic Party and the DNC stealing democracy from the voters. You're okaying that because we can't have Trump. Your fear is allowing you to rationalize the theft of democracy from the people. And what do we hear? We hear applause. People are proud. People are clapping for Kamala. People are normalizing and legitimizing the theft of democracy. Now we're gonna wrap up here, but I got one more clip to play. Shout out Zeno, my boy Zeno. I'm not gonna put your real name out there, my guy, but if you're watching, shout out and salute to Zeno. He sent me this clip, and this is interesting because this is what we're going to see a lot more of if and when Kamala Harris is elected. Because mind you, the Democratic Party is doing their utmost. They're doing their best to dilute the black vote by promoting open borders and voting rights to illegal immigrants. But now in Colorado, we see situations like this. Y'all check this out. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Hold on. This is what we're seeing because of those open border policies. Oh, no. Did I do that? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Check this out.
To the landlord, Gang violence at an apartment complex in Aurora. The video shows men entering an apartment building with several weapons and then busting down a door.
And all of this taking place at the apartments, which had become a crime hotspot in that city.
The video shows a group of men walking up a stairwell at the edge of Lowry apartment complex in Aurora. All of them appear to be carrying rifles and handguns. Another video clip shows men forcing a door open. But what or who they were searching for, not clear. The video was shot in the building where Cindy and Edward Romero lived until today. They loaded up their stuff and moved out.
It's been a nightmare and I can't wait to get out of here.
The couple's car and many others here were riddled with bullets after a shootout at the complex earlier this month. The Romeros say the trouble started when a large number of migrants began moving in. They had not been able to move out for different reasons.
We couldn't get any. We tried reaching out to the resources, but they told
Gang violence at an apartment complex in Aurora. The video shows men entering an apartment building with several weapons and then busting down a door.
And all of this taking place at the apartments, which had become a crime hotspot in that city.
The video shows a group of men walking up a stairwell at the edge of Lowry apartment complex in Aurora.
Sorry guys, hold on, let me cut that off. We're seeing Venezuelan gangs seize American apartments. See, it wasn't in, and I read an article on this. It wasn't included in that brief clip that I played you, but you can go do your research. What they're saying is they're collecting rent. These gangs, not landlords, just gangs. Gangs are collecting rent in Aurora, Colorado. Venezuelan gangs have come into the country, taken control of apartment complexes, and are collecting rent from just innocent American citizens. Not the landlord, not on behalf of the landlord. No, they've just taken over the complex. It's ours now. On some gangster shit. On some gangster stuff. Hey, this is ours now. What? What you gonna do? Huh? Shots fired. And this is what the Democratic Party is going to continue to push. Open borders. Open borders. Not only that, they're going to give voting rights to these people. Why? Because they got to dilute their voting bloc. They see that the foundational black Americans, the base of the Democratic Party, is starting to step away from the Democrats. We're starting to throw our hands up and say, hey, these guys don't really have our best interest in mind. It's been 60, 70 years. They haven't offered us any tangibles. What are our options here? What are the alternatives? The Democratic Party's not doing anything. Can we vote for Bernie Sanders? Maybe we can, take over the party that way? No, Democratic Party's going to cheat Bernie. Well, shoot. Can we vote for RFK? I mean, he was better on the COVID issue. He was better in 2020. Let's see, maybe we can restore the Democratic Party of the past, the Kennedy legacy. Maybe we can go back to the good old days. Can we do that? Nope. Democratic Party is going to steal democracy from him too. But the foundational black Americans looking at the situation, we're starting to back away from the Democrats. The Democrats are like, what can we do? We got a lot of immigrants. If we continue to push these open border policies, we can give these illegal immigrants voting rights like they're doing right now in DC. Hint, hint, clue, clue. We can give these people who've been here for 31 days, not 31 years, not 3 years, not a year, 31 days. If you are in DC, you can be you can be here illegally. It doesn't matter. You come to DC, you stay here for 31 days, you can vote in local DC elections. The Democratic Party is trying to dilute the black vote. It's really, Google the replacement theory. Google the replacement theory. And a lot of people like to say that that's racist. I don't think it's racist. And if it is, I'll stand on it. The replacement theory is real. And they're not hiding it. I've got plenty of clips which I've played here on this channel of Chuck Schumer explaining why the Democrats are promoting illegal immigration, open border policies, granting voting rights to non-citizens. They're not hiding it. They're not hiding it. They're telling you in your face, yeah, we're stealing democracy from you. Yeah, we're giving non-citizens voting rights. And you're not going to do nothing about it. All right. Well, that's my 2 cents. That's my rant for today. Listen, if you've made it this far in the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button because it's free and it supports the channel. Also, if it's your first time watching or if you haven't done so before, be sure to smash the subscribe button for content just like this. I'm talking about a wide range of topics, whether it be news, politics, current events. You like it, I love it. We're talking about a lot of different things. I've got some interesting collaboration videos coming up. So salute to the guy Costco. You know who you are. You know who you are. Salute to the guy Sammy Socialite. Yeah, y'all gonna find out about Sammy soon. We're gonna have some sports talk. Some sports talk soon with Sammy Socialite. So we got some pretty exciting collaboration videos in the works. So y'all, we got a lot of things that we're working on trying to build up this channel and you know, get a catalog. I'm building a catalog here. Listen, I think I checked it out the other day. Let me see. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm at 670 videos. Let me see. I believe I'm at 670 videos at this point. So, hey, your boy has been rocking, and salute to y'all. Hey, seriously, salute to y'all who have. I'm at 687 for videos. 687 videos. So we've got some staying power at this point. We've been in the game for a while now. I'm still growing. It's not a big channel yet, but we're still growing. And I want to salute y'all for real for continuing to support me and support the channel because we're building. We're growing. We're getting some momentum here. We've got some collaboration videos coming up. Y'all have been big supporters. Y'all have been here, you know, since the beginning. Some of y'all haven't been here since the beginning, but y'all continue to support. Y'all continue to hit the thumbs up button to support the channel. And I appreciate y'all for that. I really do. So salute. Cheers to y'all. Hold on. I meant to say cheers to y'all. For real. I really appreciate y'all. All right. Salute to y'all. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. We're going to keep making good content, having interesting conversations like this. And also be on the lookout because moving forward, what I'm going to start doing is, I know some people, these lives, it's more of a stream of consciousness here. But what I'm going to do for y'all is I'm going to start chopping up the lives. So I have lives. If y'all want to come, y'all have comments, y'all want to, you know, tell me what you think about the topic, you can come check out the lives. And after the lives, I'm going to start breaking down, chopping up the videos into more digestible portions, maybe 10 minute rants, 10-15 minute rants. So y'all don't have to sit through the whole hour and a half. Y'all can come just for the interesting parts, just the good parts. So I'm going to start breaking it up for y'all. All right. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me. With that being said, I'm going to see you on the next one. Salute. Peace.
Made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan. Now I'm the man, that ain't no stopping me. I ran up all these bands up and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan. Now I'm the man, that ain't no stopping me. It ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up. It ain't no stopping me. I was broke, came up with a plan. Now I'm the man, it ain't no stopping me. Got bands, I'ma run it up. It ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan. Now I'm the man, that ain't no stopping me. I done ran up all these bands up and made like 5 bands a day. I was broke, came up with a plan. Now I'm the man, that ain't no stopping me.